The only thing now that can shake Raila Odinga right now is what he started by speaking, the Francophony, Anglophony and Lusophony. That one can be a bit of a problem because if you are taking someone like Djibouti, yeah, Djibouti is regarding Gachagua, and he started by saying that Raila Odinga is Kenya's finest.
For the first time,
yes,
Gachagua spoke something
he
positive
came out
about
and
Raila
said
Odinga.
Hello guys, welcome to yet another great session that we're having here and to discuss national politics today. Today, Jeff, has been the big day that Raila Odinga has been waiting for ever since the bid for AU started. Today is the day that officially Kenya has launched the bid for Raila Odinga to be the AUC chairmanship. Yes.
For me, I'm not happy. I'm not happy because I feel our government, our country is going to sink because we are not going to have an opposition.
Hold that thought. Hold that thought. Before we get into the intricacies and details about it, let me first of all go through what these major speakers spoke about today. And
I was surprised to see Yoweri Kaguta Museveni. And people are saying that Museveni aende kusupport Raila Odinga.
Alikuwa hapa.
Take us through.
The first major speaker was Raila Odinga himself, and he spoke about, that was the time that he was launching his bid, trying to present his manifesto to Africa. And he spoke about Francophony, Anglophony and Lusophony. These are the three different major languages that Africans speak that are not local languages of Africans. So Francophony, those are the people who speak French, Lusophony, people who speak Portuguese, and then Anglophony, these are the English speaker across Africa. So when you go to aim for the AUC chairmanship, sometimes these boundaries are set that we want a person who speaks French to deal with countries that speak French.
Yes.
We want a person who speaks English so that they can deal with the person who speaks English, and we want a person who speaks Portuguese or etc. So there was that discussion, and Raila Odinga was very critical to say that he wants an Afrophony Africa.
Afrophony.
Yes.
That is a new term.
That is a new term by Baba himself. That he wants, he wants people now to unite, not on the basis of who colonized who, but on the basis of being African. So he projected that pan-Africanism out there for him as that is the stepping stone to his bid. Also, he spoke about the African lion. Yeah, he coined that there is the European bear, there is the American panther, there is the Asian tiger, but he is presenting the African lion.
The enigma.
The enigma himself. And he gave a very good anecdote about the African lion and how the African lion is very brave. Yeah. So he coined that word to say that the African lion has been sleeping. The African lion has been sleeping on gold. The African lion has been sleeping on diamond. The African lion has been sleeping on cobalt, on every good mineral that Africa has to offer, and that we've not been gaining a lot from these minerals. Yes. So he said that the African lion is with me, and going forward, we are going to raise the African lion. That the era of the Asian tiger has gone. The era of the European bear has gone. The era of the American panther has gone. And now is the time for the African lion. And the last thing that Raila Odinga said was that he wants to unite people under the banner of pan-Africanism. That is what we've been knowing Raila for. He knows a very good history. He mentioned the likes of Kwame Nkrumah, the likes of Mwalimu Nyerere, and even say that he used to follow Mwalimu Nyerere in what he was doing to fight for Africans. So that was one of the major bids that Raila is going with, that there is a sense of pan-Africanism.
Yes.
Another major speaker from Raila was Rigathi Gachagua.
Yeah,
our own finest, Rigathi Gachagua. And he started by saying that Raila Odinga is Kenya's finest.
For the first time,
yes,
Gachagua spoke something
positive. He came out and said that Raila Odinga, we have been having our own differences here in the country, but from today, I want to tell you for sure, I am supporting you for the bid for the AUC chairmanship. That is Rigathi Gachagua. Yes. And he even went on to say that Raila Odinga is the pride of the nation. He went on to say that Raila Odinga is a leader and he's transforming from being a national leader to a statesman. Yeah.
Wow.
And he said that he holds nothing against him, as well as all Kenyans support Raila Odinga, that yeye ni mtu wa ground. Na yeye amesikiza kwa ground. And Rigathi Gachagua has assured Raila Odinga that the ground in Kenya supports Raila Odinga's bid for the AUC chairmanship. Yeah, ameshasikia ground. And the last thing alisema that Mama Ida Odinga has played a very, very instrumental role in Raila Odinga becoming who he is today. And so he thanked Mama Ida Odinga, today being her birthday. He said that Mama Ida, the next birthday, would like to celebrate it in Addis. And I can quote him, "President, if you'll not be able to attend that birthday, please send me to attend the birthday of Mama Ida Odinga in Addis Ababa next year."
Amazing.
Yeah. So the third speaker was President Ruto. And our president came out vividly with a very elaborate speech to support Raila Odinga. He went now into the intricacies of what is needed to be achieved. He spoke about deeper integration, that Africa needs to come together. He spoke about the AU budget, that Kenya will be a part and parcel of contributing to the AU budget. You know that all countries have to contribute to the AU budget. Some countries in Africa don't see the need even of contributing the budget. Some countries in Africa have loans. These are the contributions that will benefit or strengthen the AU. We don't need an AU that depends on other foreign countries to come and support the AU. Then we will be losing our independence. So Kenya, that is through President William Ruto, say that Kenya will participate fully in the AU budget. He also said that Raila Odinga is a visionary leader, and he also said that he will also participate in the secretariat, in making the secretariat that will work for all Africans. And if I will not forget, Olusegun Obasanjo himself, former president of Nigeria, was also in the house. And you know, Olusegun Obasanjo and Raila Odinga go way back.
Yeah, true.
Yeah? Olusegun Obasanjo in 1995 attended the burial of Oginga Odinga, Raila's father.
Yeah,
and
Raila was in jail.
Yes, and Obasanjo was jailed for that when he went back to his country. They say that you went to Kenya to conspire against Nigeria and also to instigate Kenyans, because at that time Moi did not go well with Oginga Odinga. Yeah, so he said that you want to bring a rift between Kenya and Nigeria, and he was jailed for that. And Obasanjo came out and said that that it may be perhaps, if it weren't for him coming to Kenya and to bury Oginga Odinga, maybe he would not have been president. Maybe he would not have gone to jail, so that he would not be elected as the president of Nigeria. There was a large note there when Olusegun Obasanjo was given a podium, a small podium to stand on, and he opined that he went on and removed that small podium and said that I'm not that short. Yeah. I am not that short, and continued to speak. So he also said about responsibility, that Raila Odinga is not only going to be the chair of AU on his own person. He has a very important responsibility to maintain the dreams that he has, that he's not just going there to sit. He has the responsibility of himself achieving what he's supposed to achieve, as well as the people who are supporting him have a responsibility to make sure that Raila Odinga achieves what he's going to achieve. Jakaya Kikwete, the former president of Tanzania, was also in the house. He wished Raila well, didn't speak so much because his president was in the house. Yeah, so he wouldn't want to veer so much, and he wouldn't want to be seen as a person who is going beyond his mandate. So Jakaya Kikwete just wished Raila Odinga well. Burundi, the Burundian, I think, minister was also present and said that Raila is a strong candidate, as well as say that Burundi has given its support to our candidate, Raila Odinga. Rwanda also, James Kabarebe was also there, a minister as well, was sent by the president, spoke about democracy, development, and the relentless spirit of Raila Odinga.
Yes.
They thanked Raila Odinga for being a relentless person who never gives up. True. Then they say that the influence of Raila Odinga is beyond Kenya. it extends very far beyond the borders of Kenya, that he is the right person to have that seat. As well, he said that stronger, cohesive, and more prosperous Africa can come through Raila Odinga. Yeah. Then we had Mama Samia Suluhu herself went to the podium, and among the first thing that Mama said is that kwetu wananiita mama na mimi leo nimekuja hapa kumsherekea baba na kaka yangu. And he said that also in his first sentences, he said that Tanzania endorses Raila Odinga to be the AU chairmanship.
And I remember there's a candidate in Tanzania.
There was a candidate, but he stepped out of the race.
Yeah.
Jakaya Kikwete was also a very good candidate that people thought he would take over.
True.
But Jakaya didn't go forward. Yeah.
Wow.
So that is some great sense of patriotism also
True.
from our neighbors.
Let's come to this guy from Banana.
And before I finish that, she said that Raila Odinga is a pan-Africanist, that he takes the concerns of Kenyans very well and the African continent, as well as there is integration through infrastructure development. Remember, Raila Odinga was part of AU before, under the infrastructure development, and Mama says that she did a very good job when he was in that docket. She went on to call Raila Odinga Engineer Odinga. So there is no dispute anywhere. Raila Odinga is an engineer.
True.
Presidents know Raila Odinga as an engineer. And then she finished her statement with a very good phrase that Tanzania says Baba Tosha. Yeah, you remember that the last time Raila said someone Tosha, they won. They won. Now someone is saying Baba Tosha. Salva Kiir Mayardit came to the podium. You know, Salva Kiir, the president of Sudan, is now the chairman of the East African Community. So he holds a very high level seat even in that podium, and say that South Sudan confirms that Raila Odinga is their preferred candidate. And something very interesting that Salva Kiir said is that he was visited by Musa Faki, who is the current AUC chairman. And Musa Faki asked Salva Kiir that he wants to be the AU chairman. I don't know if he mistook Musa Faki, because we know that Musa Faki is outgoing, but that is exactly what he said, that Musa Faki visited him.
He's an AU chairman, but he wants
already.
So,
but he has gone for 2 terms. Then Salva Kiir said that, my friend, I already have a candidate, and that is Raila Odinga. And he said that Musa Faki has never been happy about him ever since that time. And then he says that Raila's consistency is admirable. True. Yeah. And then let's come to the father of the region, that is Museveni himself. He said that he started speaking, Museveni and his speeches. Yeah, Kaguta and his speeches. He started speaking about the history of Africans and why Africans need sustainability, why Africans need to stand up for themselves. He spoke about social economic diagnosis. He spoke about the history. He spoke about the patriotism that Africans need to have for themselves, first of all, so that they can win. I remember he gave also an anecdote about the fact that there have been people on the moon. And he said 4 countries have been to the moon: the United States, Russia, China, and India. And he said when he was fighting, he fought for when during the NRM movement, when it was active and fighting the government of the day. And he said, when I was fighting, I could hide behind a hill. Yeah, my opponent will be just on the other side of the hill, but they could not see me. But right now there is someone on the moon. Yeah, that person will see you even if you are in what corner, they will still see you. So he said that we are not in the same kind of level, and Africa needs to grow as fast. Africa needs to develop as fast so that we can be at par with other nations. If they have someone on the moon, Africa is late. We need to have our people on the moon as well. So he said that he supports, that Uganda supports the candidature of Raila Odinga for the AUC chairmanship, and that Raila Odinga is a convinced Pan-Africanist, and that he was visited. He admitted that he was visited by the Djibouti candidate in his Statehouse, and that they went and had coffee. They took photos, but he told him that he will come. He told him that in fact he will come to Nairobi, that he already has a candidate, that the government of Uganda already has a candidate, and that is Raila Amolo Odinga. Yeah, so we saw a wide support for Raila Odinga across the East African community. Basically, Somalia the other day also came out and said that they support Raila Odinga because their candidate stepped down. So it is given that we are showing some kind of a block.
And who is Raila Amolo Odinga competing with?
He's competing with a candidate from, I think it's called Mohammed, from Djibouti, and then there's another one from Madagascar.
There are only 3.
I think there are 4. There's another one, I'll remember, then I'll tell you. There are 4. All from East Africa. They are competing against Raila Odinga. And if you see now what is happening is the East African community has decided to come up as a bloc and support one candidate. And that is a major win for Raila Odinga.
Yes.
The only thing now that can shake Raila Odinga right now is what he started by speaking: the Francophony, Anglophony, and Lusophony. That one can be a bit of a problem, because if you are taking someone like Djibouti, Djibouti is a Francophony country. They speak French. Those countries that speak French might want to support Djibouti. Yeah? And Djibouti can also appeal to countries that are Arabic. Yeah? And there are many. Yeah? If you want to assess, just go to West Africa. There are so many countries there that speak French, that are Arabic. Yeah? So they can try to put on that kind of a fight against Raila Odinga. So it is not an all-win, but it is a very good start, that if he can have countries, more so the first 3 East African countries, that is Uganda, Tanzania, and Kenya supporting him, that is very strong. Now we are seeing Rwanda and Djibouti and Burundi coming on board, and Somalia coming on board. That is stronger, and South Sudan. Now we need to hear what Ethiopia will say.
Yeah.
Because Ethiopia borders Kenya and it borders Djibouti. We need to know where Ethiopia lies. We need to know where Nigeria lies.
Eritrea.
Yeah, we need to know Eritrea. Where, of course, Eritrea most likely will support Djibouti. We need to know where Egypt lies.
Mogadishu.
Yes. Morocco is a very, very special country. Has a lot of influence. We know where it lies. Mozambique, South Africa.
Yes.
A very, very special country as well.
I'm 100% sure
South Africa will support us.
Impossible.
Why? Then again, these nations out there, for example, these influential nations, Russia, US, China, and the EU, will have so much interest over who becomes the AU chairman. Yeah? So there is influence as well from outside Africa that will want a specific candidate to be the AU chairman. Because as you know right now, as we spoke in the other episode, Russia has an interest in Africa.
True.
We've seen in the West African already, Russian flags being waved when other authoritarian leaders are taking leadership of countries. Yeah, we've seen China's interest in Africa with the loans and the kind of financial benefits, or you can say that China has been investing in Africa. So they need a cooperative AUC chairman. Yeah, the EU has been working with Africa for the longest. They have interests. Yeah. And as well, the US, that's given, the US has interest in Africa. So those forces are going also to put their bet on some of the candidates.
Let's wait and see. For me, I can say that I feel like Raila Amolo Odinga has really betrayed us. Ametuangusha sana. Because the guy is going for an AU seat without organizing your home. Hata kama unaenda safari, unapaswa kupanga nyumba. But umeacha nyumba ikiwa tu hivyo vibaya. So right now we are suffering. We don't have an opposition. We don't have anything to spearhead the government. The government will do whatever that it wants. For me, I feel like it's a disappointed. I'm not disappointed because Raila Amolo Odinga is going for an AU seat. I'm disappointed because this person hasn't organized the house. The house ameacha bila mlango. Dirisha ameziacha zikiwa wazi. What will happen? What will happen? Tunasema, for me, I feel like Raila Amolo Odinga has not organized the house. That's what I can say. Raila Amolo Odinga, before you go, make sure that the ODM party is standing well. That's what I can say. That is my last advice to Raila Amolo Odinga. For me, I wish him well. I know that he's going to bring something good in Bondo.
Yeah.
That's what I know. That's what I can say. My last thing.
As for me, I think we've started off and made a very good start by getting the endorsements of all these key presidents and governments. The East Africa community has spoken in one voice, and that is a very good thing. And I think now it is now beyond even Kenya. This is the stand of the East African community. And now it is upon the East African community to make sure that Raila Odinga gets that seat. I think the first thing that they can do is to convince their neighbors. If you convince your immediate neighbor, Kenya has already convinced its immediate neighbors. That is Somalia, that is Uganda, South Sudan, Tanzania.
Yes.
It's only Ethiopia that we've not heard of.
But Ethiopia is very hard to support
convince.
Kenya. They are going to Djibouti.
They might, yeah, they might, because we are a bit far.
Eritrea, Ethiopia, Djibouti.
They are one. Yeah. So I think the first thing they can do is to convince their neighbors as well. So if Tanzania convinces Malawi, Tanzania convinces Zambia, something that is paining me, we've not heard from DRC. DRC proposed to be part of the EAC.
What about Rwanda?
Rwanda we heard of. They sent their prime minister.
Oh.
Yes. DRC was missing in the chat. But anyway, we will revisit. We shall revisit that.
Next time we say game over.